Good evening, I'm Don Clouston.
And I'm Meryl Lynn McCain.
Coming up next on News 8, there were demonstrations today in Poland that were broken up by police.
In Korea tonight, at least 24 people are dead following a fire in a nightclub. And we'll take you to today's air show at VANCE Air Force Base.
Those stories and more, plus sports and weather coming up next on News 8.
As every do-it-yourselfer knows, you can go to a lumber yard for lumber, 2 more stores for paneling and carpeting, a hardware store for tools and hardware, a paint store for paint, a plumbing shop. You can even go to your brother-in-law for advice. Or you can come to us, Payless Cashways. We have everything you need for your project, including advice. Payless Cashways. Don't do it yourself without us.
You have a choice, Oklahoma. Ford gives you the smooth, quiet ride you're looking for in a luxury car in 2 different sizes. The trim size LTD, totally new from its aerodynamic hood to its gas-filled shocks. And Crown Victoria with size and comfort for 6. Plush carpeting, rich velour fabrics, and remarkable sound insulation. The ride and handling you need, the room you want. The choice is yours. See your Oklahoma Ford dealer now.
This is Channel 8, KTUL TV in Tulsa.
Good evening. In Poland today, a major clash between the authorities and those defying authority. At the very spot where Polish Jews rebelled against their Nazi occupiers 40 years ago, the Polish government had planned an official ceremony, but leaders of the outlawed Solidarity Union chose to plan their own ceremony, and that led to trouble. The police moved in and started taking away identification papers from anyone who argued with them. The crowd then moved to the main ghetto monument, and Catholics and Jews prayed together under the watchful eyes of the police. Authorities then moved in to disperse the crowd. When it was over, those armed police detained at least 3 people. In other world news tonight, South Korean police say 24 persons have died and 70 were injured in a blaze that swept through a crowded 2-story disco. The fire happened in the southwestern town of Daegu, about 200 miles from Seoul. A club employee says some 400 people were in the disco when the fire broke out. The cause is under investigation.
A feeling of celebration and remorse highlighted the 35th anniversary of Israeli independence today. In Jerusalem, Prime Minister Menachem Begin led ceremonies dedicated to fallen Israeli troops. The most recent action has been in Lebanon, where 474 soldiers have died. Israel has been trying to deal the Palestinian Liberation Organization a knockout blow since last June in Lebanon and has taken worldwide criticism. In recent weeks, Israel claims a threat from Syria has become more serious after a buildup of Russian arms and advisors. Some Israeli officials believe the Arab threat is increasing. It was a more peaceful mood in Tulsa today as 350 Jews and Christians marched in a walk for Israel. The march ended a week-long celebration for the independence anniversary here in Tulsa. After the walk, nearly 1,000 gathered for a festival of singing, dancing, and eating. The parade route started at the Temple Israel this morning and commenced this afternoon at the Jewish Community Center on 71st Street. The annual walk was only one of many activities planned this week.
Tomorrow, the Supreme Court hears arguments on a reverse discrimination case. At issue is whether employees can preserve jobs for minority workers by laying off whites with more seniority. The case is being closely watched by civil rights groups and organized labor.
Tonight in the east, they are having more than just a few April showers. The 7 inches of snow covering Detroit won't help bring May flowers. But that is the least of the problems for the extra workers called in to restore power to some 15,000 Detroit Edison customers, or for those who are depending on their cars to get around today. In parts of Pennsylvania, another weather problem. The Delaware River is 13 feet above its banks. It was a similar scene in northern New Jersey today. The flooded roads here are due to a record 2.5 inch rainstorm.
And also in Michigan, as many as 50 families near Flint have been ordered to leave the area within 5 days. The evacuation will allow the state to resume cleanup of a nearby lagoon that's filled with toxic waste. The area is labeled the state's worst toxic waste site.
Prison officials in Pittsburgh are working on a surrender agreement to end a hostage situation there. They're negotiating with 2 armed inmates who are holding 2 hostages in a basement room in the Pennsylvania prison. The standoff began Thursday with a bungled escape attempt. Speaking of prisons, the outgoing warden of Oklahoma's penitentiary in McAllister visited with us on News 8's Dialogue today. But before Warden Al Murphy leaves that post at the end of May, he could be faced with a grim task. Convicted killer Sonny Lee Hayes is scheduled to die by lethal drug injection on April 29th. Murphy told us his personal feelings in the execution.
you're going to be affected by it. There's just absolutely no way you can't. You just can't watch somebody's life ebb away and not feel something. And there's no way that you don't do things. You psych yourself up. You do things that force a lot of individual humanistic things out of your mind to get ready for an execution. I'm sure there's a lot of things that go in your mind after an execution. My personal feeling is on it, it's going to be hard to do.
Lawyers for Sonny Lee Hayes bring his case up to the Court of Criminal Appeals tomorrow in last-minute efforts to cancel the execution.
Coming up next, we'll take you to an exciting air show.
We'll see the Air Force Thunderbirds who performed here in Oklahoma.
News 8 at 10, brought to you tonight by Bennett Lister Oldsmobile, Cadillac, and Subaru, and by REASOR'S Discount Foods.
Now is the time to buy that new heavy-duty truck from Port City International. After April the 1st, federal excise tax will increase by 50%. That means that a truck now costing you $5,000 in taxes will cost you $7,500 in taxes after April the 1st. At Port City International, we have over $3 million worth of new heavy-duty trucks in stock, ready for immediate delivery. So why not take that money that you'd pay in taxes later and apply it towards the purchase of that new truck now? At Port City International, we need your business.
What's real bargain brake work? At the Brakeman, we believe it's warranted brake parts and installment. We also believe it's customer satisfaction and confidence in the work done. And more than all of that, the Brakeman believes a real bargain is your being able to stop in a crucial situation. And that's the best bargain of all. For real bargain brake work, see the Brakeman, where we know what we're doing.
The Air Force is flying high tonight in ENID. That's because more than 50,000 people turned out for an open house today at the VANCE Air Force Training Base. Dozens of grounded planes lined the runway for public display. One of the biggest attractions was a C-5A Galaxy. More than 240 feet long and 65 feet high, it's been called the world's largest aircraft. The F-10B was one of the oldest planes at the show. It was used as the major fighter plane during the Korean War. But without a doubt, the F-16 was the biggest draw. 6 of them were flown into ENID today by the famous U.S. Air Force Thunderbird pilots.
They came in like a mighty rushing wind, soaring at supersonic speeds of more than 700 miles per hour. The Thunderbirds have always been known for their flashy airmanship, but on the ground, these pilots are the epitome of discipline.
It takes an awful lot of desire, it takes a lot of dedication, and the thing that the team gives you is a tremendous amount of satisfaction, and they teach you to be a true professional.
This is the type of plane the Thunderbirds used to fly, the T-38, the same plane 4 pilots died in 16 months ago. But Air Force officials say the accident wasn't to blame for the switch, but that they were bound to change over anyway. Now the Thunderbirds are flying a new machine, the F-16, and besides all of its other advantages, it's fuel efficient.
It's just extremely maneuverable. It's got a lot of power, and it just does whatever you want it to do.
It puts goosebumps up your spine to see that they can have such precision with so much speed and power.
I would like to be a fighter pilot, yes. I would very much like to be a Thunderbird. But the feeling of accomplishment that you get, because not a whole lot of people can fly one of these. I mean, it just takes a lot of know-how.
At the Vance Air Force Base, Shelley Harper, News 8, ENID.
This next story is about a different kind of precision flying, this time in old World War II Navy planes, as Chris Garrett reports.
There are only 12 SNJ-2s still flying in the entire world. 40 years ago, these Navy fighter planes were an integral part of our armed forces. With the dawn of the jet supersonic aircraft, these sturdy prop planes were put out to pasture. But what a retirement they're enjoying. The entire fleet of 12 are now part of the Miller High Life Squadron, an air show that travels around the country delighting audiences with their precision flying and computerized sky type.
The airplane is perfectly designed for what we do. It's designed for formation flying. It carries a tremendous load in the air so that we can carry the solution with us that makes the smoke. And it's a very powerful engine. We get a good long range at it, and it's just a lot of fun to fly it.
The sky type is produced by a special smoke solution injected into the plane's exhaust manifold. The 5 fighters fly in tight formation to produce a letter every 4 seconds. But you'd better read it quick because the puff of steam disappears in about 6 to 10 minutes, yet the memory of the thunderous squadron lives on.
A project that's made a difference in the lives of 10,000 Green Country residents ended its week-long run today. Health Fair 83 offered free screening tests this afternoon at St. Andrew Baptist Church in North Tulsa. Fair Director Judy HYDE says attendance was down in the city this year, but way up in suburban and rural communities. 4 other health fair sites have already been scheduled for the months ahead in communities like Pawnee and Pawhuska, and HYDE says many other towns are requesting sites.
Well, I think by the end of summer we will probably have seen 15,000, which was our original goal. So I think it's been successful because the community, we've really seen phenomenal community support this year, and the overall quality of our sites, which was one of the things that we were concentrating on, has just been tremendous.
This was the 3rd year for Health Fair, and HYDE says many groups are already planning to have booths next year.
Thank you, Marilyn. And what better way than a healthy dose of sunshine to start the week off?
That's right. You know what I'm doing?
What?
Praying for more good weather, because I've had so many friends these last 2 days, it's unbelievable. Good details coming up in the weather.
This April, you'll save all over the store during Pixley Lumber's Truckload Sale. We've bought by the truckload to bring you values in every department. Give the kitchen a brand new look just in time for Mother's Day with beautiful cabinetry from Pixley's. These quality Belwood cabinets feature solid wood raised panels and a warm country pine finish. They're yours right now at savings of 40%. Pixley Lumber's Truckload Sale ends April 30th, and prices may never be this low again. So come on in to Pixley Lumber in Claremore.
Not too long ago, if you wanted to buy Sealy Posturepedic bedding in this city, you paid from $400 to $1,200 for a set. Well, we cut the prices to 1/2 and brought Sealy Posturepedic prices down 50% in this city. And that started a price war. Now we're firing the second shot. We have now cut all Posturepedic prices, every model, every size we carry, to less than 1/2 price at John F. Lawhons.
Good weather across northeast Oklahoma for the weekend. Wasn't it a great one? A little windy this afternoon, but that wasn't anything to worry about. Tomorrow, it's going to be a little bit cooler. We do have a backdoor cold front coming through, and that's going to be dropping our temperatures maybe 5 to 8 degrees. Really not too bad. Should be quite a bit of sunshine left in the forecast. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. My goodness, still nice weather. Right now outside, though, the winds have changed around a little bit. They're out of the northeast at 5 miles per hour. Temperature 59 degrees. Here at the studio, still 64, 55% humidity, 29.81, and steady as a barometric pressure reading. Today's high 77 degrees, morning low 45. Normals are a high of 73 and a low of 50, so we were right in there. 91 degrees back in 25, 28 back in 21. Try to catch you there. On the radar at the present time, we're showing a lot of ground clutter. The reason why that is because the temperatures are cooler as we have a cold front moving through, and that's causing a little bit of problems with the radar, but it is picking up some showers off to the east of us, just to the east of Wagner to near Tahlequah, and we go out to the 150-mile range. Still a few showers showing up out there. Fayetteville's had showers in the last hour, but there were a few moderate showers and thunder showers up in southern portions of Kansas. They drifted on down into the northeastern section of Oklahoma. Then they've started to fall apart. Still a few lingering showers sitting out to the east of us, but we're really not going to be expecting too much in the way of precipitations. That's falling apart, decreasing at the present time. Temperatures are cool up to the northeast of us, where they're ranging 53 at Joplin, 52 down at Fort Smith. You warm up a little bit when you get down to the west and southwest, where that cold air has not quite made it in yet. So we're taking a look at a satellite picture across the United States. We do have the clouds and showers and thunderstorms down into the Gulf coastal areas. A few showers and thunder showers are scattered across Arkansas, and as I mentioned, a few developed in southern Kansas. Other than that, we have another storm system up off the west coast. That's starting to move inland. That will be affecting our weather sometime. We keep saying it, but it's very slow right now, and it is spreading a cold front there. Our backdoor cold front is sliding in at the present time. You can see the cold temperatures to the north, 46 degrees at Kansas City, 69 at Dallas, 68 down at Corpus Christi. Those are 9 o'clock temperatures. And close into our area, you can see those clouds with those showers associated with it. Just in the northeast corner of the state, trough of low pressure moving through, but that cold front's going to slide through most of the state of Oklahoma by tomorrow afternoon. And when it does so, it's going to bring in just slightly cooler temperatures. The precipitation you can see in the form of moisture is off to the east of us. Now it'll continue to stay away from us. Looks like some fairly nice dry air mass is going to be around us. So when we go on and take a look at the satellite, or excuse me, the map for tomorrow, we'll be able to see that this storm system up to the north of us has slid on down to the southwest of us a little bit, and that will be responsible for bringing in cooler air into most of the central plains. Very cold temperatures are expected to linger in the northeast for the next several days. They're expected 10 to 20 degrees below normal. On the west coast, that storm system sliding into our area will spread more showers in the west coast and moving on into the Sierra Nevada ranges of the mountains, and temperatures still very nice just down to the south of us. And taking a look now at the statistics, no rainfall, April 1.25 inches, normal 417. In our crop forecast, no rain is expected. Looks like 10 hours sunshine tomorrow, high drying, and no dew in the morning. Forecast tonight, fair and cool, 44 degrees for a low, so it will be cooling down a considerable amount. Northeast winds 5 to 15 tomorrow. Partly to mostly sunny. Seasonal afternoon high near 71 degrees. That's fine. Tomorrow night, a little chilly again. Overnight low down to 52. Fair to partly cloudy skies. Extended outlook, 80 degrees. Warm temperatures. We have a warm push of air coming back in on Tuesday. Wednesday, pretty warm, 77 degrees. And Thursday, not bad. Chance of thunderstorms, 78 degrees. 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, we're going to have a backdoor chill, and it'll be around 46 degrees. Marilyn.
Thank you, Travis. I bet all the runners in Boston are hoping for good weather tomorrow.
I'm sure they are. The Boston Marathon, 87th running of it, comes up tomorrow, and Travis promises me that they should have good weather, maybe in the 40s, but it'll be a good race.
Harold, you look so cute.
Mother, please, an artist needs total concentration.
Let your imagination run wild. Let the colors just flow through your brush. Oh, what is it?
This is a 1983 Cadillac Coupe de Ville that we could sell for only $14,200. That's less than some Buick and Oldsmobile.
A Picasso, you're not. A car dealer, the best.
Mr. Muskogee.
361, 362, 363, 364, sir.
What do you mean 364? What do you mean my number's 364? What does he mean?
You're 364th in line to be checked out.
I want the express lane.
This is the express lane, sir.
Hey, you ever shop in a store like that where you felt like you were 300 in line? You're not going to have that happen at a REASOR'S Discount Foods because we're fast.
You're getting ready to work them. You use TBZ paste wormer because you don't want to stress them any more than you have to, and you don't want to set them back either. That's why you reach for TBZ paste wormer and the familiar blue and white tube. Because you know TBZ paste is the only proven no stress, no setback wormer. That's right. The only proven no stress, no setback wormer. TBZ paste.
Loris, the People's Courts. Now all over America, people arrive on Loris time. Wake on Loris time? People bank on Loris time. People break on Loris time. Loris, quality quartz watches and clocks, $12.95 to $49.95, including day-date analog quartz at $26.95.
Loris, the People's Courts.
It's everything except expensive.
Tomorrow, the running of the Boston Marathon. The experts have their eyes on Greg Meyer and Bill Rogers. Meyer has run the course just once, finishing 11th 2 years ago, but he's rounding into top form now. 2 months ago, he set the national record for the 15 kilometers, and he apparently will have little trouble with the greater marathon distance. The other favorite is four-time winner Bill Rogers. He's now 35 years old, but not slipping. The weather should be cool, but little chance for snow in Boston tomorrow. Today, it snowed on the baseball action in Pittsburgh. The second game was snowed out. but in the first one, the Pirates beat the Cubs 7-0. In Philly, Atlanta got by Philly 3-1. St. Louis, though, in New York got postponed by snow. Other games, Houston beat Montreal 6-3, doubleheader for Cincinnati and San Francisco. San Francisco won the first one 3-0. Cincinnati won the second one 12-3. And San Diego beat L.A. today 9-1. In the American League, Kansas City lost to Milwaukee 6-3. It was New York over Toronto 7-5 in 14 innings. Texas beat Boston 1-0. Baltimore beat Cleveland 6-1 today, and Chicago got by Detroit by the same score. Minnesota beat California 11-8, and Oakland got by Seattle by 3, 7-4. This afternoon at County Stadium, the Tulsa Drillers and the Oral Roberts University Titans played an exhibition baseball game. Last year, ORU won the game, but the Drillers weren't going to let that happen today. Tulsa got out to the lead on that Jim Foyt's first home run of the year. The Drillers then went on to win 7-3. National Hockey League playoff action continued tonight. 8 teams left going for the Stanley Cup Championship. Tonight, Buffalo got by Boston 4-3. Buffalo leads the series 2-1. In the third period, Edmonton, Wayne Gretzky and Calgary are ahead of Calgary 9-2. They'll lead that series 3-0. And in Minnesota beat Chicago 5-1. Chicago leads that series 2-1. And the Rangers of New York got by the Islanders 7-6. The Islanders lead the series 2-1. Let's take a look at that North Star Blackhawk game. Chicago goalie Murray Bannerman played great. A 2-on-1 break. Murray Bannerman makes the save. Moments later, it's a kick save. But he could only hold off Minnesota for so long. First period, still here the pass. Al McAdamy scores in close. Later in the first period, Chicago with a man in the penalty box. The North Stars work it around. The shot tipped in by Neil Broughton, 2-0. And of course, what would a hockey game be without this? Willie Plett and Mark Wilson going at each other in the corner. The final again, Minnesota 5, Chicago 1. The series now stands 2-1, Chicago. In tennis, Yvonne Lendl has played better over the last year and a half than just about any other player, but he hasn't won that one big tournament. And he's been wondering lately if he can beat the big names on clay. Well, he took care of that last question today by humiliating Guillermo Vilas 6-2, 6-1, 6-love to win the WCT Championships and $125,000. Also on Hilton Head Island, it was the final round today of the Heritage Golf Classic. This, a great shot on number 14 by Tom Kite. Jim Nelford Hill rolls in a long birdie on 13 and then shows his putter is his affection. Mac O'Grady bogeyed the 10th, 11th, and 12th to fall back from the lead. But today belonged to Fuzzy Zoeller. Even though he bogeyed the 18th, as you'll see here, Zoeller finished 9 under and won by 2 strokes. Fuzzy Zoeller wins the Heritage and $63,000. Needless to say, a busy sports day, and it was also a busy week in sports. Here's a look back at the very best of this week. Our defensive play of the week goes to Fred Lynn, center fielder of the California Angels, who makes a great diving catch here earlier in the week. Best basketball dunks, Rick Mayhorn and Jeff Rulin. Mick Mayhorn there on the drive, Jeff Rulin for the two-handed dunk for the Washington Bullets. We're out of time. We'll continue those tomorrow, hopefully on sports. We're out of time, but we'll see you tomorrow at 5, 6, and 10.
Thank you very much, Jack. Coming up next, a church with a long history. And we'll see some old-time records of a different kind.
Along with a record number of dogs here in Tulsa today. Stay with us. Bixby's First Baptist Church broke attendance records today, and the fact that it was the church's 80th anniversary may have had something to do with it. Special worship services were held with some members wearing clothing reminiscent of days gone by. The church was founded back in 1903 with around 30 members. Today it has 600. The sanctuary, built in 1967, is the third for the congregation in its history. And records weren't broken, but they were purchased, sold, and traded today in Tulsa. A record convention attracted dozens of collectors looking for their favorite golden oldies. One exhibitor had rare 78 RPMs from the 1930s and 40s, featuring blues artists like Arthur Big Boy Crudup. Others had records by some better-known folks like Elvis and the Beatles.
There was no room for cats today at the Tulsa Fairgrounds. Some 2,000 dogs were at the Expo Pavilion for a Mid-Continent Kennel Club semi-annual all-breed dog show. Judging by class started at 8 this morning, with the finals getting underway late this afternoon. Many of the dogs shown were rare and unusual breeds. That's our news for this Sunday evening. I'm Don Clouston on behalf of Marilyn McCain and the rest of the News 8 crew. Have a pleasant evening.
And stay tuned next for the program Star Search. Good night.
News 8, brought to you tonight by Port City International and by the Brakeman. Be a part of News 8 by reporting news tips to Channel 8's telenews number 445-8888.